Welcome to our reality, everyone. I don't know why you're here, but I'm glad you are because tonight we're going to be catching up even more on Big Brother 24 as we end week 4 in the game. We're a little over a third of the way through the season now, which is weird to say. I feel like we still have a lot left to go, but that's where we're at right now. And tonight we're going to be going over the live feed action since our Saturday podcast. We're going to be talking about the episode tonight, some psychedelic slop that we'll be encountering at some point again if we want to relive whatever that was. We're going to do that. And we're going to be ready for the eviction tomorrow night. Maybe we're going to have another blindside in some form or fashion, or at least blindside 1 or 2 people in the process. We'll see. But anyway, we're going to talk about all that. We are live right now. If you are here, we have the chat open. Welcome, everybody. And I am not by myself in this venture, everyone. Hi, my name is Barrett, if you're here for the first time ever. I guess I should say that. But also joining me, as always, is the Zack Perez, Roxie. I almost said Roxie _ Hotman instead of just saying the lovely Roxie Hotman like I usually do. That was almost embarrassing. And Nick City. Zack, I'm going to come to you first. So, Zack, your mystery shoulders have returned. Welcome back, I should say. But I do have one question for you. If you could describe Nicole in one age, what would it be?
Age?
Yeah.
I don't think she's ever mentioned that before.
Yeah, I know it's a tough question, but
I'm going to guess...
Oh, age.
Acting like she's 11, but she looks about 41. I think that she said that.
Yeah, I was going to say 41 too. I don't know what was making me think that, but that's a good answer, Zack. But also, Zack, how are you feeling this week as we wrap up week 4? You weren't here on Saturday, so you got a lot of thoughts to catch up on.
Yes, I do. So I think it's a pretty okay week. Someone's game has gone down quite a bit, just by how this week was handled a little bit. And I'm going to go, Kyle, his game sort of took a dip this week, just by the handlings that he's been going on. And, you know, the smooch that happened. Nick has his own choice of words for that too, as well. But overall, this week has gone way better than it could have gone. Okay. And I'm glad that Nicole is leaving. And I'm hopeful that Daniel will be right after her.
All right. Well, we'll see. We still got a lot of stuff to catch up on, especially with the Kyle stuff, which is why I'm going to go to Nick next. Nick, you were here. You weren't here on Saturday, but last Wednesday when you were here, when you had to preemptively leave, the last thing you really talked about was the Kyle Alyssa situation. So you had some choice words, but I want to know how have your thoughts changed as this relationship has now blossomed into a full-on showmance, even though we didn't get to see it all tonight with the smooching or whatever words you want to describe it with, Nick. How are you feeling overall about that situation and this week?
I will say I'm happy. I'm not even gonna hide that. Not only because Alyssa is safe, but I'm also happy because Nicole's getting the hell out of there. And I cannot stand her anymore. Like, it's more so like because she is leaving. I was very much like, one of her or Daniel needs to go this week because I literally cannot stand them anymore. So I'm glad about that. But regarding the whole showmance, I am so happy that I finally have a showmance. I will get into it later on because I do have like a lot of thoughts about why I like showmances in particular, but I'm happy to say the least.
Well, I mean, we all know that I also love showmances, probably more than anyone here on this on this discussion. So yeah, I'm really happy for Kyle and Alyssa. It's my favorite thing that's ever happened in the history of Big Brother. Okay, Roxie, you were here on Saturday, so we don't have as much to catch up on. I'm going to ask you this question. You did press mute just on your microphone, not on Melon, is why they said that. So we didn't hear anything you said, if you were concerned about that.
Oh, I was like, oh my gosh. It doesn't matter. I was only discussing the health of a feral cat outside that I'm going to try to catch and take to the vet. Its foot is injured, and I cannot have that.
It can get a hospital bracelet to match you.
Yes, I have been to the hospital today, which Lee already noticed, and I appreciate that. But it was just, I just had to have IV. What am I trying to say?
Yeah,
Iron infusions. Iron infusions.
All right.
That's what I was trying to say.
Well, my question for you is, your girl Jasmine lost her scooter this week. She now has a boot.
Why did you call her that? That's so disgusting.
So how do you think
She's
this is going to
girl.
affect, again, your girl Jasmine, how this is going to
Stop.
impact her pickle habits?
Not the pickle habits.
Listen, it's okay, Bean. It's okay. You just threw me for a loop. No, first of all, never again call her my girl, because I literally vomited a little bit in my mouth when you said it. Not
It's
once, but
true.
twice. Yeah, it was gross. She is not my girl at all. She's nowhere even close to anywhere in my vicinity. I do not like her. As far as her pickle habits, wait, what is the question?
That wasn't really a question you had to answer. I just like your reaction when I call people you don't like, your boy or your girl or your whoever.
Yeah. It's
But
disgusting.
really, how are you feeling about this week? Just kind of wrapping all up going into Thursday.
Listen, I'm pretty pumped for Thursday night. I mean, I think they see it coming despite the edit on tonight's show. I think they've pretty much figured it out, but they got to make it on the CBS edit look like that they think that they have the votes, and they have at various times thought they had the vote, but they do not. And I'm going to be happy to see Nicole leave. Goodbye. So,
All right.
all in all, good week. Aside
I'd
from the
say
pickle
so.
issues. What the hell is that?
That's the pickle
I hated
issues.
watching this. Oh my god, it was so disgusting.
Yeah.
Okay.
If
So-
anyone thinks that they want to watch the video of her eating a pickle, which apparently she's just dipping it in sugar and then just like.
That was sugar.
don't even-
I couldn't tell what it was.
No,
it was,
well,
disgusting.
But one other time it wasn't sugar. It was some sort of, I don't know what it was, like maybe ranch dressing or something. She was like,
Yes, it looked
she
like
had
ranch or something.
yeah. You saw it too. She's like just lounging on the couch, just like ramming that pickle into that jar, just like, and I was like, oh my God, first of all, this is X-rated, and second of all, this is just it's a phallic object. There you go, Jameson. Clip that.
Well,
Anyway, so gross.
I'm not
So gross.
defending her doing this, but I have seen many people do this before, and it's made me want to gag. That's why I do not like pickles at all, because they would literally.
Wait, you've seen them dip them in sugar or in ranch?
No, I've seen them like slurping on them.
Oh, the pickle slurp. Yeah, that's disgusting. Look, use them
Ew.
teethies and take yourself a bite, because that's nasty.
I'm
Barrett, you
thinking
gotta
that
stop putting
she's.
that picture up.
I'm thinking what she's trying to do is make, or I'm assuming they don't have like Kool-Aid in there. Have y'all ever? I don't think Nick knows about this, but
Kool-Aid
Kool-Aid
pickles.
pickles. Yeah.
It's a Southern thing. That is
Oh,
a straight up
girl.
Southern thing.
Okay, Barrett looks confused.
I'd never heard of this. I'm sorry.
That sounds.
Barrett, you've been out in
revolting.
LA too long.
I'm sorry. Did the pickle Kool-Aid fad happen when I moved out there and I just missed all of it?
No,
I
it
have
was
never had
before.
them.
I've never tasted of them, but I definitely know tons of people who are supportive of the pickle Kool-Aid craze. I mean, it is so weird to me because they pull it out and it's like red. Like, what? Jameson's mom loves Kool-Aid pickles. What flavor, Jameson? I am genuinely curious because I've seen a lot of red
Oh,
pickles,
no.
which I mean, it doesn't taste like a pickle, though, I don't think, because it's not pickled. It's Kool-Aided, right?
Kool-Aided.
It's
Yes,
Kool-Aided. So it's just
sure.
basically like a cucumber, which is very similar to a melon. So, I mean, it has seeds in it. It's a cucumber.
It's
a
marinated
pickle.
in
It's a
Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid. Yeah, it's a Kool-Aid cumber.
Cool.
I need to move on desperately. Okay,
Yes, cherry. Jameson says cherry.
So I'm going to
Why?
catch up a
Let's
little
move
bit
on.
on this week just so we know the basis of where the conversation is going to go from here on out. So we have Monte as the HOH, and he is in a bestie festy trio with Joseph and Terrence. They are safe as well. The initial noms for the week were Alyssa and Indy, who weren't the initial targets, but eventually became the targets after a discussion that we saw in tonight's episode. Then Daniel and Kyle were the winners of the veto competition, and there was a lot of reverse psychology that went on in the process before the veto ceremony, the day of the veto ceremony, which switched Daniel's opinion of not using the veto to using the veto, and then put up Nicole and Taylor. And I know I'm going to get confused saying all of this, but it's confusing to talk about at the same time. So we have the veto used. Nicole and Taylor are on the block now. They'll be on the block tomorrow night, where as of right now, Nicole is going to go on at least a 6-4 vote. And it may be more by the time they actually tell the rest of the women in the house what the plan is. So that's where we're at, everyone. First thing I think we should talk about is Daniel using the veto, and everything that led up to that. Because what led up was a big ball of confusion. If if you were just okay, so they showed it well enough on tonight's episode, but the fact that Daniel's mind just went there and Nicole's mind just went there is insane to me. So we have the new plan that was enacted by the leftovers to keep Alyssa and Indy on the block, with the hopes that one of them would join Michael and Brittany's bestie festie group, and that way they would ensure their safety as the leftovers are included in every single group that much more. As Taryn put it, it's taking their 95% chance and putting it up to a 98% chance of surviving through this entire twist. So that plan is put into place, and so they got to tell and make sure that Daniel does not use the veto. They've already got Kyle on board, half on board at least, to not use the veto. And they need Daniel to also not use the veto. But Monte telling Daniel not to use the veto only scared Daniel into using the veto and putting his best friend Nicole on the block, because he was for sure that Monte only told him that because he doesn't have the votes to send Nicole home. All right. I want to get everyone's thoughts on this. Is it, like Kyle said, one of the worst moves in Big Brother history that Daniel just made?
I don't
It's
think
one of the worst moves in this game.
Yeah, it's not the worst.
In this
It's not.
season.
It's not Marcellus not using the veto on himself.
Yeah.
It's not that level.
Or Lawan's secret power. It's not on that level.
I just.
Well, it's pretty close
Yeah.
actually to that level.
I'm putting it in the mindset of, in the crazy. I could never think the way that he does, but just picture yourself, you're Daniel right now, and Nicole.
Ooh.
The only thing that you want, for some reason, in their warped thinking, is to get Taylor out. And the only way they can do that is if Nicole is on the block, too, regardless. So in that mind track of thinking, they're just thinking, oh, there's a chance that Taylor could go home. The thing that they've been wanting for weeks. So of course they're going to go for that. It's like the double-edged sword, and like it's like the monkey paw in a sense, like where you get something that you want, but something else is going to happen that you don't want to happen. And that's what's going to happen to Daniel. He has Taylor on the block again, but his whatever his little rat is going to go home instead.
The rogue rat. Yeah. Yeah, she's the rat of the rogue rats. Yeah. And I mean, I don't even know if it's a monkey's paw situation, because he doesn't even get anything good out of it. Like, there's nothing positive that he could get. It's only negative.
Yeah.
Yes,
Excuse
Roxie?
me, teacher.
Yeah.
I don't understand the monkey paw reference. Like, what the hell is that? What is that?
Have you
What is it?
Have you seen Wonder Woman 1984?
I have.
No.
Okay.
It is a very sad day to be a DC stan, but I am one.
So basically what it is, it's like a genie in a sense, or you make a wish and your wish happens, but there's some type of weird twist to it. It's like, say, I want to be the most beautiful person in the world, and you turn into a statue, like the most beautiful statue or something like that.
That's not a person, though.
Of a person. Like it's like a weird twist like that.
Yeah. They give it like every Twilight Zone episode ever.
Yeah.
You know, the one where the guy just wants, he's in the bank and all he wants to do is read. You know, all he wants is all the time in the world to read. And then the nuclear, apocalypse happens and everyone gets killed and he's the only one that lives. And he's like, oh my gosh, I have all the time in the world to read. But then he breaks his glasses. So he can't see anything. It's like that kind of situation.
Gosh. Yikes.
I know. So that was that. But I feel like that, in that case, what happened to Daniel is the apocalypse happened and he lost his glasses, but he didn't even want to read in the first place. Like it just kind of happened to him.
But he
didn't wanna
told
play Big
everybody
Brother
he
in the first
wanted to
place.
read, even though he didn't want to read.
No,
Because
exactly.
he thought by telling them that he wanted to read, that they would think that he wanted to read, when in reality, all he wanted to do was watch TV. But the joke's on them, except the joke's really on him.
Yeah, you get it.
Barrett's like, sure.
Yeah. Anything to get off of this weird monkey's paw topic. But
That
yeah.
is the weirdest thing you've said today. Anything to get off of this weird monkey's paw.
I'm trying to not curse ourselves in the process is really what's happening.
I
But
appreciate that.
in any case, we have the situation that we have. We have Daniel putting his best friend up on the block, who is going to get evicted tomorrow. And even then, even after Nicole was put up on the block, it's not as if there was like a 0% chance, like in their minds, that Nicole could go home. They were like, well, I guess there's still a chance. And now at this point, late in the week, they're like, yeah, there definitely is a chance. Nicole has even been like, yeah, it's kind of 50-50, you know? And just kind of gone
So
to
you're saying there's a chance.
yeah. But it's been entertaining in the
Dumb dumber.
process because we get every single Nicole conversation possible, which to me is very entertaining. Because she
Oh my
thinks
gosh,
that
she
she's
is so delusional.
I know. I love it when she talks to Kyle this week, especially because in their minds, Nicole and Daniel, Kyle is just sweet, baby, innocent Kyle that we saw, in the first week of the game. He's not, week 3 Kyle, where he's forming this big alliance. So when she talks to Kyle, it's very much just like, they're playing you up there. Monte didn't tell you about this because he's lying to you. And Kyle's like, I'm being played? This is crazy. And she's like, yes, I'm 41 years old and I have integrity. And I'm telling you, you're being played right now. And Kyle's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So it's a lot of those conversations, which I find very interesting. Also because Nicole is fake in every conversation she ever has, ever. And I enjoy watching that because no one ever believes anything she ever sells. So to me, it may be a hot take. Nicole leaving is not, in my best interest in some form, because I think I'm going to miss her chaoticness in some, in a weird way. So I'm sorry to say that.
She's gotta go.
No, she doesn't.
Yes, she does. So me personally, I thought it would have been such a stupid move for them to get rid of Alyssa this week. Am I like jumping topics here if I start talking about this?
No, please
okay.
do.
So like, if, in my opinion, if they took out Alyssa, A, that's just boring TV because no. B, I was just like, okay, so you're gonna take out Alyssa, who's won nothing, is clearly not smart. I mean, she thought Newark was a country.
One day.
And then yes. And then it's like she's very like attached to Kyle. So I didn't understand essentially like why they would want someone like that out as opposed to someone like Nicole, who was literally 2 points away from winning an HOH and is also a duo with the person that yelled at Taylor when this whole alliance was formed because you guys wanted to protect Taylor. And it's like, now you guys are going to keep the two people that are like the biggest a-holes to her in the game. It was just very much like, I don't know how I feel about this. And so I was very happy that they did end up using the vetoes. But yeah, I don't know. I do understand why Brittany and Michael wanted the whole situation to go down because they are the only, team that's very vulnerable. But at the same time, it was a little selfish on like all of their parts because like they only wanted to do it to protect their duo. Taylor selfishly didn't want to go up, which is completely understandable in my opinion. And then Kyle was also kind of being selfish where he didn't want to go up with Daniel in the beginning of the week. So I was just like, you're all being a little selfish here. So like, if we're all going to start pointing fingers, I don't know. It's just their alliance is giving me, I heard Taryn say this on one of the updates that once the twist is over, he can start to see the alliance start to really crumble because there's kind of no reason for them to all stick together. Because if you look at it with the way the twist is set up, this group is set. Like they are literally set. The only duo that's not set is Michael and Brittany, technically. So if this alliance is actually really loyal to each other, they broke the twist, technically, or whatever you want to say. But once the twist is over, they don't really have that motivation to like really stick with each other, in my opinion, especially with all this happening this week. So
no, and they really don't. And I'm very interested to see, because I do love that the people that are kind of factioning off, especially this week, are, Brittany, Michael, Taylor, and then Kyle to some degree, kind of at a distance with Michael and Brittany as well. I kind of like that they're having these factions within the alliance, because typically that's how we see a big alliance work, is that we have the big alliance as a whole, and then someone forms the small thing just to plan ahead, just in case. And I think that little faction, not only do I like them more, I think they're much smarter than the rest of the alliance, who is definitely all working together in the process at the same time. Roxie, the beeping you're hearing is Discord, and I don't know if you're just hearing it on your computer or you're hearing it through my earbuds. I don't know what it is, but I think I think that's what you're hearing. I keep seeing you react to it. I just want to make sure you're okay.
I'm not okay. I'm like, what the hell is that noise?
Are you hearing it in your earbuds?
Yes.
Are you using your 43-year-old son's computer?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, we're in the same Discord thing, so that's what you're hearing, because I'm hearing it too. I didn't think you were hearing it through my earbuds, but
Okay.
Just know everything's
like...
okay. You're unmuted now, and you're hearing Discord. We're all on the same page. Okay.
Okay.
So I do want to get everyone's take on kind of like the leftovers sort of crumbling this week, and not crumbling in their own sense of just like they're definitely not going to work together long term until 7, and I think that's pretty much confirmed as of this week. So we have the little factions forming. We also have Kyle not so into the idea, like we saw in tonight's episode, to be like, Alyssa, I'm saving you, and then at the last second be like, oh, well, now I have to tell Alyssa that I'm not actually saving her after you told me to do all of this week. You don't think that's kind of an issue for me in my own personal game? So
I'm sorry.
And then we have Taylor on a Wednesday episode again crying in the DR at the very end of the episode. Not too happy with the blindside that happened of her going up after being told that she wasn't going up. So we have these little things that are happening within the core, or the majority alliance itself. And I just want to know, specifically Roxie and Zack, get you in here to talk a little bit about the leftovers in the future of the game. What do you see? What do you see happening?
I'm kind of glad like they're breaking up a little bit. I feel like we all kind of knew a little bit, like even whenever it was Paloma's pals, or post whatever. They were
Pose pack.
It's whatever you want at this point.
I mean,
whenever
very, very close.
I mean, that's what
Very
Brittany
close.
called it. I think it was Paloma's pals or something.
I mean,
But-
it was alliteration,
yeah.
so we'll take it.
Yeah.
It's not, no matter what the alliance was, it wasn't going to be long term after this twist is over. And I'm kind of looking forward to it because I'm seeing it more towards, I know none of you guys watch Survivor, but looking at it towards voting blocks a little bit. Dedicatedly, Roxie.
Oh, proceed.
In Survivor, there's not been as much of alliances per se, more so voting blocks where it's like we want this person to go out, so we're just going to vote together this time, but it doesn't mean we're an alliance. And I kind of see that happening
it's like
right now.
1 and 2 week deals, like they used to do in old school Big Brother. It'd be like there weren't these big giant alliances. We actually talked about that on Saturday. Which you would have known if you weren't over there playing board games pretending to be moving, Zack. But anyway.
What did I tell y'all?
That's the only reason I said it, because you said I was going to.
He was playing
Also
Monopoly.
because
He
I
was
wanted
buying
to.
a house.
Yes. No, but that's
yeah.
I know exactly what you're saying, and I agree. Yes.
And I'm kind of looking forward to it. I think there will be more final 3, final 2 deals versus like a big, let's do a final 6 right here. And I'm really liking Taylor's involved in a lot of the final 2s and final 3s that of people who are more than likely going to win comps, and also people who are more intertwined within other relationships. And I feel like it's setting her up really well.
Who, Taylor? Yes.
Yeah. But
That's what you said.
yeah. But Roxy,
Yeah.
what were you gonna say about
The what? The voting block?
well, no, just how
Or just in general?
in general.
The dynamics of the podcast. I mean, the what? My God.
There's 4 of us.
Dynamics of the podcast.
They're terrible.
Are you
Me and
okay?
Barrett have a final 2.
Y'all saw that I took my
Okay.
medicine right before we started. It is kicking in right now.
I know. I could see you. I could see you messing with the cup. The Discord thing is really rapidly. I could see everything working.
Get my new
Believe me,
cup.
I was only slightly concerned for the past like 10 minutes. That's why.
Get my new cup.
Yeah,
Sarah
I
from
love it.
Texas made me a cup. Look, I love that movie. See, look. Sarah from Texas. She can make one for you. Anyway, so
Roxie.
let me talk about the dynamics of the alliance.
Roxy, do I need to give you like a 15-minute like just break from everything into?
It's only
okay.
going to get worse, Barrett. I'm medicated.
This is your peak right now. Okay.
Yeah, look, this is me on top of things. So, no, I do agree with what Zack was saying about the voting blocks, and it is just like making the deals and stuff, and we're already seeing like some splintering and some factioning of different groups. But he was saying like it may be Kyle in with the Michael Taylor and Brittany group. Listen, Kyle's been getting a little too big for his britches today because
You're telling me.
in more ways than one. The sex people are back.
We manifested it.
Yes, because he's been already talking about like, well, maybe we could possibly work with Daniel and Alyssa moving forward and try to target Monte. And I'm like, pump the brakes. Like, do I want you to do that? Of course, but I don't want you to work with Daniel. I do want you to target Monte at some point. I don't want you to do it with Daniel unless you absolutely have to. And at this point, you don't. So shut your face. But I like that we're seeing that. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I like that we're already kind of seeing the, roundabout talking. Like Michael and Brittany had a super long conversation about, actually talking about Kyle mentioning those things where it was just like, I mean, we actually do need to start thinking in terms of that because Michael, since day one, has wanted to work with Taylor and with Brittany. That plan has not changed. I will say CBS has been fairly accurate with that portrayal. So they're doing something okay-ish. But anyway, I don't know. I'm rambling, and that's how I feel about that. I am medicated. I feel many things.
I enjoy the aspect, and it kind of makes me wish the twist was over now, because then I think we could really see it come into play.
This is the last week. I told the CBS people they could only have 3 weeks, period, and then it's over. I don't know if they're going to listen, but this is the plan that I have stipulated for them, and if they don't obey me, there's going to be problems.
I could just see everyone in the CBS office. Why don't we put it into jury? Why don't we keep the twist going? And they said, we can't. Roxy said not to.
Wait,
They're like, it'll be great.
let's do a Pandora's box at Final 6.
And then we bring it back. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And we play the same competition that Monte won this week. So that way he wins it again. And that way he stays in the game. It's brilliant. Zack, I like what you're saying.
Oh, Sarah from Texas, who is my twin's twin that made my cup, is in chat. Just saying. Hi, Sarah from Texas. She's
Hello, Sarah from
actually been on the
Texas.
podcast with us before.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
A lifetime ago.
She's my twin's twin. We're not triplets, but she is my twin's twin.
Yeah, I hope everyone have fun figuring that one out. But yes,
I hadn't figured it out. So.
Let me look at my notes for this episode, and we'll talk a lot more about the leftovers in the process of that. So we do see, Joseph saying they need to worry about Taylor going on the block again, which I thought was an interesting add-in to the episode at DR, especially because of how much I think Taylor has voiced her concern with people not being so worried about her as much. Like she is just the weapon for them. She is the ultimate pawn, essentially, that they're throwing on the block whenever they can. Which is really added into the whole dialogue about forming factions within the alliance. And so I think that's where the leftovers have really made kind of a misstep, is to just not tell people things. They're not telling Kyle until the last second, actually, we're not going to use the veto, Kyle. So I really hope your game's still intact after this. They're not telling Terrence right now, about all the plans that are going to be in place. And they need to tell Terrence. Of all people, you can tell Terrence anything. He's not just going to, rat you out all of a sudden, even though he's very closely aligned with Daniel. They're letting him in kind of at the last second about this vote. And I think they really need to tie him in more.
He's not going to rat you out, because whatever you say to Terrence, like you can say, Terrence, ice cream is poisonous. And he's like, okay, yes, it is. I will tell no one. I'll let them be poisoned. Okay.
I know, but I'm saying if they want him to be a number, they need to include him on things, minus the day before.
Why? He does exactly what they say.
Well, when you have votes that are this close, Roxie, it might as well just give a little bit of effort to have one more extra vote. They
don't need it. If it's a tie, Monte's going to vote to evict Nicole.
No, that's a stupid point. I'm sorry. You need to tell Terrence. It doesn't take that much effort to just tell Terrence, like a few days before.
No, it doesn't. But I don't want to have to include him later. If I'm in the game, I might tell him how to vote, but I'm not going to include him in a bunch of other plans, because I know that he is a yes man to me, but he is also a yes man to them. So it does me no good to share my alliance plans with Terrence when I know I could go, hey, Terrence, we're voting this way. I need you to do it. And he'll be like, okay, that's all you got to do.
Yeah.
You actually didn't really make a stupid point. I just wanted to argue on the podcast. I don't feel like we argue enough.
I think you
are correct, I'm down
Roxie.
to do that. Thank you, Nick. You and I are the only two that have any kind of sense here. It's just me
agree.
And you, Nick.
We see each other.
That's right. We're in charge.
You can have it. It's fine.
No, I don't want it.
You lost that privilege whenever you cried 2 shows ago.
I cried for a good reason. Look what they did to Taylor. Wait,
Terrence was choking on that chicken wing. You wouldn't be emotional about that too, Zach? Is that what you're saying?
This just in, Zack doesn't like Taylor, and therefore Zack has to leave.
To be fair, I'm not the one that said Nicole should stay.
That is true. That was Barrett. That's why Nick and I are in charge.
Me. Yeah. And me saying that doesn't mean I want Taylor to go, if I need to clarify that. I meant Nicole staying in the game and watching her spiral is very fun to me, and her not being in the game to do that, I think would be kind of a lack of entertainment. Like, I feel like if Alyssa wasn't in this game, I wouldn't care as much. But blindsiding Nicole is pretty fun.
I agree. I actually do agree with... I understand the sentiment, Barrett, and I do agree. I hate Nicole's guts, and I'm okay with saying that. I will own it for the rest of my life. She's right.
Can I? Okay, yeah, I agree. Can I ask a question? So you're in the game, right? And you're Daniel. You just won the veto. I'm sorry, you're Daniel again for a moment. You just won the veto.
No, I am not.
And now, remind you, Monte had a speech during his nominations that his real target was not Alyssa and Indy and that, whatever. So now you in the veto, and he's telling you you're going to use the veto. And then the morning of the veto ceremony, you wake up and Daniel goes into the HOH room. So you go in the HOH room. And
wait, so
Monte now, so you're in the HOH room, and Monte tells you, don't use the veto anymore. I changed my mind. Isn't that a little sus to you? To me, that would be a really big red flag.
Yes, but Daniel does not view it that way, because Daniel
I know.
is an imbecile. Daniel is a moron that thinks that he has cast some sort of spell over him. He's like, he thinks that he is a Jedi. He's like, you will do what I say. I will not use the veto. I will use the veto. I don't know what I'm doing with the veto. You'll tell me and then I'll do it. That's what he's doing.
Well,
he's so stupid.
But it wasn't even that. Daniel wasn't going to use the veto. And so Monte was just basically reinforcing, hey, don't use the veto. And that made him use the veto. So it was even worse than that.
Yeah.
It was. I just feel like it was so it would have looked very sus if I was in the house where Monte has this whole speech where he's like,
But you're
my
smart.
target isn't you
He's
guys.
not.
Okay.
No,
you're
no,
right.
no.
You're right.
I get what Nick's
You're
saying,
right.
and I understand. No, I have not thought once that Daniel should not be suspicious. He's just suspicious
Don't
in
be
the wrong
suspicious.
way, is the thing.
He is.
Like, he's
He's
just off.
suspicious of things that aren't real. He's like, I know a Turner. That Turner, he is America's player, and they've instructed him to never bathe, first of all.
Ah! No.
That's got to be it. There's no other reason.
I can't believe America
There's-
voted for Turner to throw up all week. Disgusting.
Yes.
I cannot.
Turner, you will have a stomach virus this week as voted by America. No, Daniel, listen, I'll tell you why like you're having such a hard time with it. With Daniel not being suspicious of something that he definitely should be suspicious of. And I think any rational person, like myself, would be suspicious of. You cannot make sense of people who make no sense. See, you're trying to make sense of senseless behavior, and it's impossible. So we've got to dial it back, because it's going to make us crazy trying to make sense of anything that moron does. Ugh, gross.
Make it
I'm
make sense.
medicated.
I know. Okay. So I don't know if we've exhausted the point of Daniel using the veto too much. But sometimes it just goes without saying how insane of a moment that is, that Daniel is going to send out Nicole. Daniel is going to send out Nicole.
Best.
You can't
Like,
write
so
this stuff.
excited.
Yeah.
Exactly. We could
Mhm.
not have. Someone in chat earlier said something like we just don't even deserve this season. Like, we've had Pooch volunteer, Amira blindsided, and with Butterbeans, and now we have Daniel sending home his best rat. Like,
Every eviction has given
this is
so far.
beautiful. This is beautiful. And by the way, well-dressed bird in chat, I've seen what you said. And I don't appreciate that. How dare you?
For those
No,
listening,
actually, it's
audio
pretty funny.
only, well-dressed bird insinuated that they love when I refer to Jasmine as Roxie's girl, essentially. So I will keep doing that as long as Jasmine is in the game, and I will love every second of it.
And I will keep vomiting every time.
If
Jasmine's gonna get a cup that says Roxie's girl named after her.
My twin would never do that to me. She is going to be making me a podcast cup, though. and
The
I'm
maker of
very
cups
excited
would
about
never.
it. Never. My twin's twin is one of my greatest friends. Not my twin, though. I mean, my twin is
Sarah
my friend.
Solo, the inventor of cups.
Yes,
Yes.
precisely. So should we talk about the veto competition tonight? And we may be jumping around a lot, but I
Please.
feel like
I
we
s-
have to talk about it.
How can we not?
So
That's
I'm
why
also-
I'm medicated. I'm performing in the veto later. Ooh.
So I need one of you to describe the veto comp for me. Which one of you wants to do that?
Okay, so there are a
HR
bunch
puff
of
and stuff.
it's like a tie dye in the sky. It's a one single
It's-
big cloud. There's a
Lucy,
sun
I would
with
die.
like a tongue out. There are flowers, sunflowers with faces on them. There are mushrooms. It's really
Mhm.
bright. There are two people standing. There's Joseph and Terrence. That's all I remember.
Zach, you haven't even described the
Terrence Trent
actual
D'Arby.
point of the comp yet, though. Can you describe that to me?
I thought you wanted me to describe the picture for the listeners.
Well, even
Thank
that, I
you,
don't know if
Zach.
that. I don't know if
Listen,
it worked that well. Well, I mean, you still
I
did it
was
accurately,
following.
surprisingly. Well, Roxie, you following it probably
Yeah.
means that Zach didn't do it right.
I
'Cause
didn't.
you're-
I
you're
didn't get
heavily
a
medicated.
single.
He did
I didn't
it
get a single question wrong in the
perfectly.
comp.
Ken Kesey and Wavy Gravy are about to call me up and tell me how great I am. Y'all don't even know who that is, but never mind.
Oh,
Thank you, Tyler
I'm
F.
excited for you, I guess, on your behalf.
They're the Merry Merry pranksters that gave people the LSD in the 60s. Catch up. God.
So the comp itself
You
was
non-hippies.
okay. So the comp itself was essentially the people that had to describe a video of sorts. So the other partners to the veto player itself, but they had to watch a video and then basically play a game of telephone where they had to then describe the video to the other player and their bestie festy group, and then they were asked questions about it. So just a game of telephone essentially. But
they had to eat.
That's the thing. To the video beforehand, what they set up was that everyone had to eat their own psychedelic slop mix, and things got weird after that. So the editing team at Big Brother for this competition had so much fun, I bet. Simply with the little wavy lines that we saw everyone have going into the cartoon.
Oh, high. They are all, not high. They're all, I mean, they're probably high too, but that does not cause this. They're like, they're drinking, I don't know, like, this is the Kool-Aid experiment all over again. Like, they're definitely tripping. I don't know if it's mushrooms. I don't know if it's LSD. I don't know if it's microdot, but it is something, and it has caused the most bizarre, worst competition I've ever seen on Big Brother. I don't know what is happening, but I'm just like, is this an after school
tripping
special?
harder than
What's
Jasmine did
happening?
during her HOH comp.
Yeah, that was great. And Kyle wasn't even the one that had to take the psychedelic slop. But I will say, for those that didn't watch the competition of the episode, essentially how it worked was we got about what felt like 10 hours worth of just scripted DRs of everyone that took the psychedelic slop describing what they're seeing in the video, but definitely like recorded in the DR afterwards. And while they were saying all of this, they had their own cartoon version of themselves inserted into this video that they were watching. And it was strange. It took up so much time. I kept thinking it was going to end, but then suddenly Joseph and Terrence went on for about 5 minutes talking about the elephants turning into pigs and the eyes blinking and turning colors and the flowers changing into ducks.
They really honestly had too much fun with, like, going into the DR to give the descriptions of the comp. I feel like they really went for it. Some of them, for instance, like Joseph, like, how do you not feel stupid doing that? Like, I mean, unless they really gave them LSD, that's the only explanation for all of these descriptions that were given, because it was very detailed. And I'm just like, what?
I'm going to at least play just like a snippet of this, just because I've forgotten most of this competition. And
is it HR Puff and stuff?
It's not. It was Joseph and Terrence in their cartoon form.
So yes.
I just want to see them one more time. Yes, exactly.
Careful, that tentacle monster's gonna get it.
Hey, that sun is spinning around with its tongue out. I wonder if it's thirsty.
Oh my god.
I'm telling you, this is an after-school special.
It was so
I
bad.
wonder if it's thirsty. Let me get a drink from my cup.
You mean it's an ass?
One more.
I have no privacy in this house. All these eyes are blinking at me and changing colors. It's freaky, man.
Freaky. Is that Freedom Rock? Well, turn it up. Y'all are way too young for that, but
no.
Great infomercial from the 90s about 70s music. Oh, look, Alicia 420 is here. I bet she knows what was going on in this comp.
I do like that message. Alicia says, I've been trying to get my grandma to watch Big Brother for years, and this was her first and last episode. But that's exactly the feeling I had watching it. I was like, if anyone was giving Big Brother a chance, they are done.
What's your friend saying?
Can you imagine tuning in? You're just flipping the channels. What's on tonight? And you go, oh, you call the kids in. Kids, There's a cartoon special on TV. Let's watch it. And then you go,
Those elephants are red or pink. And it looks like that puffy cloud is turning the elephants into green pigs.
those
What
are
about
just
this-
pachyderms.
Whenever I first was flipping channels to look at Big Brother, what popped on my screen was 2 guys wearing chicken costumes, and then I changed it. That was season 15, and that was one of Roxy's favorite people.
I only remember all the cast wearing clown costumes that year. Am I right, everyone? Am I right?
I don't know.
Thank you. Oh my
because
gosh, thank you so
I
much.
did
Except-
not hear
except Candace.
what was said.
Oh wait, yeah, she actually did wear a clownatard, didn't she?
Yeah.
They really did her dirty, making her wear it exit.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. I agree. Yeah, this veto competition, nothing to write home about really, except for everything that it was. I don't know if
Nothing
I'll.
to write home about.
It's not really in terms of the competition portion itself. Of the visuals, sure, fantastic. Loved what they did there. Never do it again. But
No.
the competition itself, the actual question and answer part, was pretty uneventful, and took up probably a fraction of the time that the actual psychedelic slot portion of the competition took. But what were
Yes. I was laughing. Alicia said that her grandma thinks coffee is a drug, so she called very unhappy about turning off the show. These people are doing drugs. You're not a Christian. Anyway,
I thought it was going to be multiple rounds because
yeah,
they
they
said
spend
first.
more time on the animation than anything.
Mhm.
Yeah, and like, sometimes they have that little intro video like before the comp starts, and I was like, when's the comp starting? And they were still explaining everything. I was like, is this the comp? And then like I was like looking at the cartoons, I was like, all right, who's wearing what? And that didn't even come into play. And I was just
Man, Zach was actually playing this comp.
I'm
from
one
at
of I'm one
home.
of those viewers.
I just don't understand how it works still. Did they like have on a headset? Was there
Yeah,
a
that's a good
video on a
question.
screen? Like
I
what?
told you they gave them actual LSD.
And they
What
all
do you
saw
not
similar
understand?
things.
Right. Sorry.
Yes. And they made them all watch the wall and then question them about it. And that's what happened.
LSD is loving strange designs.
Mhm.
Okay.
I don't know what to do with that one, Zach. I'm sorry.
It was a
Cheers.
swing and a miss.
Oh wow, thanks, Zach. Look at that. You have supporters.
All my fans. I'm booked and busy.
You're so funny.
Okay. Let's talk showmances, since I love showmances and I've been
showmans?
waiting. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. We got a few things brewing, Maybe Joseph
Taylor
and
and
Taylor
Turner?
one day. Taylor and Turner? Oh, no, probably not. But
Taylor and
It's time
Turner.
for sex people take over.
exactly. Just kissing Roxie. So Kyle and Alyssa, we've seen it approaching for many days, many days, and it finally happened, everyone. About 28 days in, Kyle and Alyssa have officially sealed their showmance with a makeout session with Daniel sleeping like 5 feet away from them. So Kyle and Alyssa, what are we calling them? Are we calling them Calissa? Are we calling them Isle? Are we
I like Calissa.
Calissa.
That's what I've
Okay.
seen on Twitter.
Calissa? That's good because Isle doesn't really make sense. Or Alile.
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 Oh,
Alile.
I hate that.
I'll go with Alile.
No,
So-
don't. No. I can't even say that.
So
That's unfair to me.
everyone knows I love showmances. But this showmance in particular has changed Kyle for the worse in terms of him playing the game, and I don't know.
It has clouded his judgment.
It has.
Don't you
to the-
think?
no,
It's clouded.
it is so clouded his judgment,
Completely
and
cloudy.
also
No.
very much reinforced the fact when everyone was saying, actually, Kyle, don't use the veto. I think that really just pushed him along even more to be like, okay, I guess I'm into the showmance now. I'm mad at the leftovers. I'm gonna focus on this a little bit more.
Well,
I think I see two sides of it. Like, it's what Nick was saying, podcast before last. Nick didn't like how he was like basically saying, "Oh, I'm playing up Alyssa and this, that, and the other." Like, and he was saying that to the leftovers, but wasn't turning down the flirting directly in a sense. And if I was in the house, I feel like I would have the same sort of. I don't want to come off like an ass, like because I think genuinely like he would like to have a showmance, but he knows, like, statistically speaking, showmances don't always do that great. Like, depending on when they are formed, obviously it all depends on their the power that they have within the showmance. But it's like I can see the sort of dilemma he has where it's like I don't want to do this, but I don't want to look like I'm playing her either. But I do kind of like her.
Also, he's been very vocal about his increasing desires that are growing every day.
He's getting too big for his
Desires
britches,
to
yes.
eat food.
He
Yeah,
is
I have those
getting
desires all the time.
entirely too big for his britches multiple times a day, simply from maybe a brushed shoulder as he walks by, or even a gaze that way, and all of a sudden his pants are too tight. And he's been very vocal about this dilemma that he has. And so he is well, I'm not surprised. Let's just say that.
And when you say he's being vocal, he's not just being vocal in the sense that he's talking to someone else about this. Like he's talking to Turner.
He's telling us.
He's talking to the camera. He's talking to America, talking about how aroused he's getting in the house constantly. And he's saying it like
somebody needs to tell him how Howie solved that problem way back when and let him go take care of some things.
No, I actually hope no one tells him that. No, please, no one tell Kyle about that. But it's just crazy when he talks. He suddenly just like de-ages 15 years. Like he's 29 years old, but when he talks about Alyssa, he sounds as if
Is he really 29?
Yes.
Yes.
My gosh.
Roxie
Friend,
is
you've
21.
got to dial that back. My goodness.
And I don't know what it is exactly, but I was very
He is an
uncomfortable.
adolescent.
Leading up to their eventual kiss was way more uncomfortable to me than them actually kissing. There was one night where like Kyle went to take a shower and Alyssa followed him into the bathroom. Oof. And he like was standing in the shower and she was just like staying close to him and he's just like, this is such a
Full
situation.
attention.
Yeah, you can't be doing this. Oh my gosh, you can't be doing this. And he's like, you got to get out of here. I have a situation going on now and you can't be in here.
He's like, you got to get out of here.
And then like Alyssa left for 5 minutes and then came back in the bathroom after that. And just the same thing kept happening. And there was a lot of buildup. And
Lane from season 12, Lane took so many dang showers. And we're like, we know what you're doing in there, Lane. Every night.
There's a really great
He's washing his hair.
Yes, you got to. There was a really great edit on the feeds. I'm trying to remember what this account is called that edits the feeds really well. And they add like a bunch of like good sound effects, not just like CBS Boeing sound effects and scoots. But they actually edit the feeds really well into these like nice little clips. And there's one where Kyle just like was in the shower. A bunch of other people were in there too. And he just like completely zoned out, like was gone.
Oh,
and was just like twirling his hair. And they all just stopped their conversation and watched him for like a solid 30 seconds before he realized that they all went silent and were looking at him. So I'm going to see if I can find that clip because it was really funny. But I also just want to give a shout out to that account that edits the feeds because they do a really good job.
They do. Their stuff always pops up on my Twitter.
Yeah, it's
Big
at
Nick video.
Eviction Day is they're at.
Yes.
So I'm gonna find that video, and okay, cool. I
Of
found it.
Kyle? I don't want to see it.
What?
I'm kidding.
It's like, what happened? In the past 10 seconds that made you not want to see Kyle.
Oh, yeah, like Double Dare.
Yeah.
I liked those.
What was the?
This is so good.
Look how red his face is.
No way. Dude. Oh my god. I love you, Kyle. Oh my god.
Yes,
So good.
that was it. Probably gonna get copyright flagged. I forgot that.
For Careless
Careless
Whisper.
Whisper.
Yeah, I was supposed to say, I forgot George Michael was thrown into that video. So that'd be great. But
Forgot George Michael was in the shower with Kyle.
yeah, totally forgot
forgot.
about that. He's in the house. George Michael and the Sex People have taken over the entire house.
George Michael Bluth, though, not that George Michael.
Yeah, gotta get it right.
Before a George Michael takeover.
Yes, finally. We've been waiting years for this takeover.
Yes.
Anything
I agree.
we
Tyler F says they should use that clip in the actual CBS edit tomorrow night. I agree. It's that funny. They should. Yes.
I just want to know, what are
It's a
your
family
overall
show.
feelings about Kyle and Alyssa as a duo? Do you think Kyle should keep this going as long as possible? Or do you think he should try in the coming weeks to kind of naturally, or at least at the beginning of Jury, naturally let it end? What do you see the future for Kyle and Alyssa is really my question.
So I see Kyle probably getting taken out sooner than Alyssa. Just because I feel like, you know, Kyle is the one who created the leftovers, and if he is the one that decides to back away from them, I could definitely see that pissing them off and them going after him. And as well as like the other side of the house, I could see them targeting Kyle over Alyssa definitely, but I don't see them lasting in the game very long. Kyle's mom also doesn't want them lasting outside the house very long, so I don't know.
Wait, I don't know this drama because I don't, as you know, I rarely look like at actual. Was it on Twitter? What's it on?
Twitter.
TikTok? Oh,
yeah,
they're
I
TikTok.
They're
people.
TikTok.
Twitter.
What is she saying? I don't know about this.
Stay strong, Kyle.
Yeah, hashtag stay strong, Kyle. That was like her.
Hashtag
like-
she's a hussy or what? Like, what did she say?
No, she just doesn't want him to get in the showman.
She doesn't
So
want
it's
him
just
in a
game.
showman.
It's game related for mommy dearest. Like she doesn't
I'm
want his game
assuming.
messed
Yeah.
up. Or
I'm
so it's not like a
assuming.
dislike.
No,
it's not
no,
a dislike
just,
of Alyssa.
It's just
I don't
she
think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So no real drama. She just wants her boy to do well. Gotcha.
Right. My whole thing with like them as like an actual showmance, I feel like, so this is like why I always like the showmances. So it's very an interesting
You and
concept.
Barrett.
Do you actually like them, Barrett, or are you being sarcastic?
I love them.
No.
I encourage
He's
them every
being
season.
facetious. No, he's a liar.
I have all of them tattooed and from Big Brother Past, all of them
Okay,
tattooed.
so you're lying.
all their
Right.
hashtags. Yeah.
It
You
depends.
just
Like,
don't even know how many times
taken off.
he's got Nicole Franzel on his body multiple times because she's had so many showmances.
see, like she was like a no for me,
It's
but
just
it
Nicole and then a
depends.
bunch of X'd out names.
I feel like in a weird way, it is like one of the best ways to find your perfect spouse. Like I know that sounds kind of crazy, but like look at Brunchel and like all the other couples that have came off the show and have gotten married and have children, that's more successful than like
Dominic
The
and
Bachelor
Danny.
and Love Island and like all the other dating shows out there. Because when
That
you look
is
at Big
true.
Brother,
That's true.
it is true, because when you look at Big Brother, you have no one, like there's no distractions, there's no cell phones, there's no media, like nothing. You don't even have your family's influence or your friends' influence where they're like, I don't like him or I don't like her, I don't think you should be with them, even if you actually do like them and stuff like that. So like seeing Kyle and Alyssa actually like come to terms that they like each other naturally, like it's just like cute to me, dare I say. So like I don't know. That's why I always like the Showmances, because I'm like, it's a weird, interesting place to find somebody to date.
It's because when you're in the house with these people, it's a 24-hour a day thing. In case y'all are unaware of how this works, but
No, but
that's
the feeds are
right?
edited.
They are
exactly. So it's different. Like like in the real world, if you start dating somebody, you see them, like you might go on a date like a couple of times a week, maybe you talk to them a little bit, but it is not 24 hours a day. You're immediately thrown in, so it's very immersive, to where like one 24-hour period is more like 3 months worth of dating on the outside world. And so that's why you see them form these bonds that are, and we're all like, like when Nicole is whopping Jasmine's ass because of her broken ankle, we're like, you've known her for 8 days, but to be fair, in her reality, she's like, I've known her 8 months. I still wouldn't have wiped her ass. I don't care, 8 months, 8 years, whatever. But I'm just saying, like, there's just a different dynamic there that is hard to understand, as Julie says, unless you've been in that house. Okay, Julie. But I mean, it is true to a degree. So I think that's why we see some.
As Pooch and Paloma say, and all of their stand, you don't know what it's like being in the house.
You don't know what it's like. Yeah. Idiots. Jen Flora. Hey, Jen. My real life friend. Big Jeff is who you're talking about. Big Jeff and Jordan. I don't like the golden
It's
boy.
another one that's married with children now. It's
true.
There's a lot. There's
I love
many.
Jordan though. She's precious. But
y'all are forgetting the most iconic, Swaggy C and Bailey. God.
Yes.
And they weren't even in the house for like
2 weeks.
Like together, like 14 days.
Then they got
together.
engaged.
That was it. Yeah, and they have a baby now. It's like, it's way more successful. Big Brother is way more successful with relationships than any other dating show out there, and it's
like
not even
Nick
a dating
and Bella, Caleb and Amber.
In a weird way, it is a dating show, I feel like.
It kind of is.
To its core, I think Big Brother is largely a dating show.
It's way better than Love Island.
No, it's I don't know if I'd go that far, but
listen, he's so conflicted right now by that. Look at him. He's uncomfortable. He's like, what? Hold on now.
It's like the aspect of the game is not revolved around people falling in love with each other, and that's what inadvertently makes them do it. I don't know. Maybe there's something to that.
The only pressure they're getting is just from the DR.
No,
so how do you feel about
no Big Brother couple will top Amber and Rob. So
that is Survivor, you freaking weirdo.
That's 2 times. 2 times, Zach, you brought up Survivor in a Big Brother podcast.
If you're willing,
ever do it again.
You're going to the
willing
bottom row.
to kiss each other, after however many days without brushing teeth, like I feel like that relationship's stronger.
I guess
that's so not.
I'd put Romber up there too with the other strong Big Brother couples, but
who?
Romber,
Rob and Amber.
They're not on Big Brother.
I know. I'm just saying I would put them in the same category as the Big Brother couples because.
It's not a dating. It's not a dating show.
Yeah,
Roxie does bring up a good point. I mean, sure. Roxie does bring up a good point, though. Everyone, we're not talking about Romber. We are talking about Alyssa. So let's keep it on track. Even though there's not much, I kind of hate that we're only an hour and 4 minutes into this because I honestly don't have that much more to say about this week. It's pretty cut and dry. So people we haven't talked about right now are Jasmine, Indy, Probably really in Turner to some degree. I've enjoyed Turner in his constant, not quite hatred, more so annoyance with Jasmine this week.
He's so aggravated with her.
Yes.
He's over it.
Yeah. Having to
He's
be
just
stuck
like,
in the have-not
no.
room with she's not a scooter anymore. She is now upgraded to a cane and boot.
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
And
they
she
took
did
away her
not listen.
scooter.
She was so upset. She was like refusing to walk, basically. She's like, I don't know if you had noticed, but I'm missing my foot, so I can't walk. And they're like, too bad, figure it out. You're turning in Christmas's scooter. She needs it. So I just, I can't with her. Take your pickle eating self home.
Yep. And
Pickleball.
Turner's having to like, yeah, Kyle's now perked up. So Turner is like cooked Jasmine's food. He is just, I don't know, tired of every single antic. Just, they don't talk game ever. Just having to live amongst her. He's over. And also everyone's eating his food at the same time. The food that he can't eat that he got for his HOH, everyone else is eating, and he's having to watch it. And I just feel bad for him, you know? He's had not a very fun week.
Because he
has dietary restrictions.
He's vegan, and a lot of the things that he got in his HOH basket, frankly, sounded delicious. Those like dried blueberries, I was like, I wonder where he got those. Those look really good. but like that's probably aggravating because like if you cannot eat, you're on slop and your tummy's already upset and you're stuck with Jasmine, which is the worst part of being a have-not for him.
That's part of being a have-not, is that you have to be stuck with Jasmine. That's the
punishment. That is the twist. The twist this year, have-nots have to room with Jasmine. No, and like he can't. So he brings all of this delicious food that is meant for him down, and he can't eat this week, and everybody else is eating, you know, like they're making the vegan cookies and stuff, and he's probably just like, y'all gotta go get yourself like a mozzarella stick or something that I'm not gonna eat and save my blueberries. Like, I would be kind of mad. But he's so, you know, like peace, love, and whatever blueberries.
Psychedelic slop.
Yes, he is so psychedelic slop that he's just so laid back. He's just so nice, honestly. He's done things, you know, that I'm like, oh, God, I can't, you drive me absolutely nuts and I don't like you very much. But at the same time, he is the one who is like, you know, we're turning this train around and the buck stops here or whatever. Like we're, you know, he basically turned it around for Taylor with that one speech that he gave publicly, like, how dare you? This should have been a private conversation. But, you know,
yeah,
I'm just saying, I do feel bad for him. The worst part is he has to room with Jasmine. For real.
I'm going to play at least one clip of Turner talking about Jasmine just to put a bow on it. Here we go.
We'd have to all meet and be like, all right.
Yeah. She's playing up her foot.
Oh my God, yeah.
No, seriously, if she's
food on your leg. It's a foot. That's how you do with the food.
She's not even trying. She's not even trying to use the cane or use the boot or anything. Like I broke mine and I was walking around sooner.
Oh, for sure. I feel like I feel bad for Alyssa because Alyssa gets all brought up like, go fetch me my Doritos. It's like, dude,
she's really dumb.
Walk 34 steps to really.
Just walk 34 steps to the Doritos, Jasmine. That's all you need.
It's so sad that he's counted them. That's probably the accuracy of that. Because what else can you do?
No,
it's like
there's nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Steps. But it's true. Jasmine just sits there and demands that people bring her pickles and ranch. I don't know, whatever.
Pickles and sugar.
Slurp on that. Like, yeah.
There was
she's like, can you go get this? Can you go get that? Can you wipe my ass? Like.
There was a screenshot of her like sleeping on the floaty with like a jar of pickles like right next to her. I thought it was hilarious, honestly. That sums up
It-
Jasmine
it's-
for the week.
she's-
She's
like, it's
too much.
annoying. Can I just tell you that my daughter, I mean, last year she actually broke her ankle in 2 places and was in a hard cast for 9 weeks. And then, you know, and so that ankle was already like, you know, not like 100%. The same week that Jasmine fell to her ankle's death, my daughter also sprained her ankle, the one that she broke last year. She sat out 1 practice before she was back up with just a brace on and was begging her coaches, like, I can do, just let me work out, let me do anything. And they're like having to make her sit down so she doesn't injure herself more. And Jasmine's like, I can't wipe my own butthole. What in the world? You are an adult. Grow up. So annoying.
It was fascinating to me. I think we talked about this before. I remember when she was HOH right after her sprain, she was talking to everyone in the HOH room, just like, yeah, when the EMT guys came up to get me, they said, I'm not going to lie, but that's like one of the worst sprains I've ever seen. Like, I'm like, grown men will cry when they see that sprain. And I don't know how you didn't do it. But she's sure taking a lot longer to heal herself than most people would. For someone who didn't cry during the worst sprain in the history of sprains, you know.
Well, you know, it's because she's so strong. Like, she's so physically strong. I don't know if y'all heard, but add this to the tally of ridiculous things that Jasmine has done in her life. That blonde-haired beauty. She apparently, allegedly, slammed a door with such force that it knocked it off the hinges. Now that I can believe, like, maybe it was dilapidated. We don't know. Maybe there was some dry rot there. But not only did she knock it off its hinges, but she split that door right down the center into 2 pieces. She's basically She-Ra. Like, who has this kind of strength? She's like, bam, and the door said, like in a cartoon, according to Jasmine, allegedly. So perhaps she's stronger than any other person in the world, except for her ankle.
Yes, it's her weakness.
Her weak spot.
It's her Achilles. It's her Achilles heel. Yeah, it's her Jasmine's ankle.
I mean, like, I would love for somebody to just make like a small video of, well, it wouldn't be small, it would actually be large, of every ridiculous thing that she has said that she wants us to believe. One of my favorite Jasmine stories is the night that she became homecoming queen, when her father dragged her across the yard, and they also coincidentally became homeless on the same night, unrelated events. And then she followed that whole horrific story up with, it was the best night of my life. One of the best nights of my life. Really? Because it sounds pretty not best.
I feel like you could have had better.
Yeah, sounds pretty not great, Jazz. I don't know, but it's
telling me of all the days.
Things. Yeah, she says things, and I just go, it's like, sure, Jan. Okay. Sure, Jasmine.
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
Okay. We'll get off the Jasmine train and we will move on.
There's
not much to there's not much to say about Indy. Indy's there still. Indy's there and talking shit about Taylor still. It's so she's not doing much. She will get a 3rd member tomorrow night on her Bestie Festie group when Taylor will join them. And that's about it really for Indy's in her story in the game right now. She has had
Just one more thing, because Tyler in chat said, I know how y'all talked about Wonder Woman 1984 earlier, yet neglected to address the fact that Jasmine was a Wonder Woman in it.
Yes. How could I forget?
My apologies. My apologies.
I totally forgot.
That's so funny. Anyway, continue. My apologies.
Okay. I don't remember where I was going. Oh, yeah. I was wrapping up on Indy. Nothing to say about Indy. Wow. So we're done with Indy forever and ever. We're never going to talk about her ever again until she has some sort of power, probably. When she gets the disruptor power and saves herself.
Oh, my God. Not this.
David's still searching. David Alexander is still searching for who used that disruptor power on him. He's yet to find out. I'm hoping one day he cracks the case. We need to start like an investigative podcast for David Alexander.
It's doubtful.
Okay.
He needs some help. He's never going to crack the case.
He does need help.
He needs Encyclopedia Brown or something. Nancy Drew.
Daniel Durston, DD, has stated that he will basically blow up everyone's game. He will call everyone out. He'll call house meetings if the vote does not go Nicole's way. So, is he actually going to do that?
Please manifest that. Let this happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because the vote is not going Nicole's way. It's going our way. Ha ha. I want to go to this meeting that will be called by Elvis. Please. Like, what is he going to say?
Do you think he'd
How
dress up as
dare
Elvis?
the entire cape and everything, and he comes sweeping in. And
How dare you?
Yes.
How dare you do this to me?
He swivels his hip with each syllable. He counts the votes off. He ticks them off. And a 1. And a 2.
Who let him bring this in here?
Actually, I really hope that happens.
Why does he have an orchestra?
Crumbs on my bed. Roxie, you should try voice acting. Yes. All of my voices are exactly the same. You should hear my pirate voice. It is spot on.
I've heard it. I thought an entire convoy was in the room.
Yeah. Barrett was like emptying his pockets. Here's my booty.
Jasmine to Nicole.
Oh no.
That's the best joke of the season, Barrett.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I don't like that one.
That's so funny.
Okay. Now I'm really off track. Now I really don't know where I was. Okay, yeah, Daniel's gonna freak out apparently. And the thing is, Monte has very much let it be known that he doesn't want this to be a blindside for everyone this week, or everyone who is planning on voting Taylor out, who is very much in on the plan to get Taylor out. So as of tonight, they're going to slowly start telling the rest of the women in the house that weren't let on the plan, Jasmine, Indy, and Alyssa, about the plan to vote out Nicole. And Michael and Brittany especially have been trying to slowly plant those seeds with all the women, so it's not a surprise when they eventually like, yeah, I think we're going to probably vote Nicole out. They've even kind of, in a way, planted seeds with Nicole, which is really funny to me. They had a whole conversation where Michael and Brittany were like, we heard a rumor that you wanted to put us up on the block and you wanted us out. And Nicole was basically like, no. I didn't want Michael out. And I thought it was hilarious. She never once said, I didn't want y'all out. She only was like, no. I just wanted, and so she's like, I only wanted you out, Brittany. You were the only one. Like, you, both of you? No, ridiculous. How dare you say that? I am 41. I have integrity, okay? I only wanted half of you out of this game.
I did see where she said that, and I was like, is nobody gonna like say anything about this? Like, because like, so if I'm Brittany and Nicole is saying that, I'd be like, hold up, Heifer, what about this girl right here? Because you're not saying words that I like right now. Nobody said anything, and I'm like, that's not it. Mm-hmm. And Nick in chat, Daniel Icon Brown has a big boy job. That's what I call it. He's a grown up now, and he has just been incredibly busy, but we still love him, and he still loves us, and I talk to him regularly. Anywho, there you go. No, that was so funny though, because Nicole thinks she's so smart and like she has her like finger on the pulse of this game. And the only thing her finger is on is that toilet paper she's wiping Jasmine's butt with, because she doesn't know anything that's happening in this game. But she says it with such confidence. It's like one of those, like, if I say it confidently, people will believe it. Maybe I'll even believe myself. But she says these things, and everybody else collectively is like, nope. That's not it. She's like, I mean, really? I have a pretty good chance to win this game. Yeah. No, you don't.
No.
Delusional.
You don't.
Yeah.
She's
Her whole
like-
thing with Terrence, where she was like, and I walk out that door, I'm going to walk out with the integrity that I walked in with, and then I'm going to get that check for $750,000. And Terrence is like, yes, you are. Absolutely.
Well,
You're
and
going
here's
to.
like, the most questionable thing about that statement is that she thinks she walked into the house with integrity. I guess that she packed that in a different bag, because it did not make it into the house with her. Like, I walked into this house with integrity and I'm walking out with it. Well, have you not gotten it out of your suitcase? Like, maybe you should get that integrity out and use it while you're in here, because you're not.
I can't hear the word integrity in Big Brother without thinking of Zach Rance's veto speech where he called out Devin.
Oh my God.
I would never
Iconic.
compromise my integrity and my honor
You
in
have
this
to say
game.
it with like the tears in your voice.
Yeah.
Your integrity.
I'm not going to do it. Don't make me do it.
I mean, please.
No.
I felt like you wanted us to beg, so that was me begging. How was that?
That was really
Please.
good, Roxie.
Okay. I didn't know if it moved you at all.
It didn't.
It's
I'm
not.
still here. I'm still right
Okay.
here.
Well,
So
about
what
right.
else do we have to discuss? We could very well have everyone in the house as of tonight knowing that Nicole is leaving the house, which makes me kind of excited. But I'm also kind of thinking of the what if scenario for the week is if the veto didn't get used and Kyle had to deal with Alyssa for the rest of the week after not using the veto on her. And it makes me kind of like wonder. But I think we'll still get a good result tomorrow.
I think we are in for a good result tomorrow. And one other thing that we haven't talked about is, isn't Taylor like planning on delivering like some bomb speech tomorrow night?
Oh,
Or-
yes.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what she said she was gonna say, but
I only remember her practicing with Brittany and being like, in the words of Rihanna, you look so dumb right now.
yes, to Nicole. I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. So I don't know what Taylor's got cooking up, but I'm sure she's gonna be serving tomorrow night for sure.
And as she should, and sadly, which listen, I'm all for it, honey. Say it, do it. But sadly, CBS is going to probably use that to make her look like she is not nice, when really it's just retaliation for the things that have been done to her for no reason whatsoever since day one. And I'm just like I don't think you should be mean like that for like no reason. She has a reason. But a lot of casual viewers are going to be like very turned off by it, but the real fans will love it. I'm like, yes, say that. One of the other things that, I mean, we did talk about it briefly, but Barrett said it. We didn't really talk about it. Was so when they briefly talked amongst themselves about keeping the nominations the same so that the Michael and Brittany bestie festie would then have a cushion. What do we think about, first of all, should Michael have even voiced that he, desired that for the group? I know that the group has talked about it amongst themselves. Should he have done that? Do you think that makes them think like maybe he's selfish? He's not. But, ultimately they did not do it. And do you think that is going so let's say the other side gets power. will they think of it in terms of, well, those two don't have one of us with them. We'll put them up and then we'll lose either Michael or Brittany. Like, do you think they're going to think about that? Could this possibly bite one of them? Like, I'm a little bit kind of like about it.
That's the thing. I think they're so hardcore prepping for this doomsday scenario that I think still is a slim chance of happening. But they have to be thinking of it because what else are they going to do? They're steamrolling right now. So that's the thing. They're just taking that extra step to make sure everybody's safe. But at the same time, who knows what's going to happen once everybody finds out, that Nicole is going to be leaving? Who are they going to blame? Who are they going to hate the most? Like, that's just the big question. And at the same time, they have to backdoor Michael and Brittany if they want a chance. If the leftovers are going to stick together next week, they have to backdoor them. They can't just put them up front because then they have all of the veto odds to take them off the block.
Do you think, though, that anybody on that side of the house is strategic enough to think of it in those terms, or will they just be blindly like, I don't care, like, I hate this person the most, and they don't even really think about the fact that, hey, these two are like part of that group? Do you think
Well, Daniel's already figured out that I think Daniel's already figured out that there's those 6 minus Kyle that are all together.
No,
so
they do. They clearly know that they're a group, and they're definitely going to know it after Thursday night. But do you think that they have, if anybody on that side of the house is strategic enough, like when looking at who they would like to target, and go and having the thought process of, well, if we truly want one of them gone, then we have to put these two up that we know, like, their bestie festie is the only group that doesn't have one of us in it. You see what I'm saying? Or will they just go, well, Monte's the one that, screwed us over, so let's go after him, and then risk losing one of their own, which, I mean, they may still think that Terrence is with them because maybe he's just like, okay, so they might. You see,
it's tough because I want to say Daniel would be the only one who I think has a chance of putting all of that together. But then again, Daniel just put his best friend up on the block and she's going home tomorrow. So how much confidence do I have in Daniel to figure it out?
This is what I'm saying. I don't think anybody on that side of the house thinks, like, I think they lack critical thinking for that side of the house. And I mean, and listen, I know that sounds really mean, but it is true. It is true. We've seen that demonstrated time and time again, that they lack the ability to strategize in any kind of way that makes sense. They lost their best strategist last week when Amira went home. Like, she would have been, I feel like, the only one from that side of the house who would really stop and, like, I mean, they've clocked definitely, the alliance minus Kyle. But I don't know that anybody over there has the wherewithal to say, no, it's got to be these two, which is what Michael's fear was. But I think he's just giving the other side entirely too much credit, to be honest.
I agree. I feel like they've definitely, I said this last time I was on here, when you take Amira out of the equation, I feel like it's not two sides of the house, because the other side is just like Jasmine and Indy, and it's like, I don't, like, are they doing anything? Like, do they even know, like, what's going on? Are they even that smart or aware to figure out the pieces like that? So I don't think they are smart enough on that side. So I had a point that I was going for with this. I don't know. I feel like the only one that could maybe figure it out would be Daniel, like you guys said, but Daniel's, like, also not smart at all. I mean, clearly. So I'm just like, I have, like, no faith in them. I feel like they are going to be giving Faute if they win, and they could end up putting up their own people and not knowing it, or just, I don't know. I feel like, or they honestly could nominate one of the non, like, Michael Brittany pairs, and then just be like, oh, like, for example, they could nominate Terrence, Joseph, and Monte, and being like, one of the guys will go, and then Terrence leaves, and they're like, oh. So it's like, I don't.
Right. I
like,
think
they're kind of screwed.
I think that actually might be the thought process that they go through of, well, we need to get rid of one of their big guys. And so if we go with that thought process, right? And in chat, they're saying Jasmine has some decent reads. She just doesn't have the game ability to do anything with it. And I do think there's a little bit of legitimacy to that statement. I think
there
true.
is.
I don't think he like, again, possesses the cognitive ability to put it all like into some type of formulated plan. But I do think she has a certain amount of intuitive thinking. So let's say, Nick, that the other side wins. Well, I guess in Barrett too. He's also here. Let's say though, like we're going to go with Nick's scenario of, somebody from that side wins, and they, think to themselves, oh, let's put up these 3 guys. We're going to get rid of one of the guys because, they're strong players, right?
They're tall.
And we
too.
automatically say, okay,
they're so tall.
They're extremely tall, which is a very marginalized group in this game, as we know, as we've been told repeatedly by Daniel. What a moron! Clue number 1, that you're an idiot. So, they're all assuming. We're assuming. Everyone's assuming, like, okay, so Terrence will go home. However, I wouldn't really be so quick to think that, because they already do have the numbers, and Michael has already said today that he does think going after these guys would be a good thing, and that could be a real opportunity to flip that script, because Michael has already said he fully intends to go to the end with Taylor and Brittany, because he is the most loyal to them. He does like them the most, and furthermore, he does not want to compete against the strong guys at the end. So I think if they go on the block, we may think they're going to send Terrence home, but there is a very real possibility that the script gets flipped on that and they send home one of the others. And I personally think it would be Monte over Joseph in that scenario, which for the record, I'm okay with.
I'm fine with it.
That's the thing. If you know that this twist is about to end, and you still have a pretty solid like group that you're working with, and you take the time to try to at least save face with the other people that weren't necessarily in the leftovers, take out Monte. I mean, when are you gonna have that opportunity again?
That's the way I am looking at it. It's like, sometimes when an opportunity presents itself, it's like you almost just have to. It's like you don't even have to twist my arm. It's like, okay, yeah, we should do that, because
kind of like the pooch
you still have the numbers. Exactly. You still, leftovers minus Monte at that point would for that matter, just drag Terrence on in with you. Like you still have the numbers. You still have the numbers. And goodness knows you could beat Terrence, right? Surely.
Yeah.
On top of that, part of the concern that this little faction in the leftovers has made about Monte and Joseph is their closer relationship with Jasmine and Indy specifically, as well as Alyssa, pretty much. And so they've kind of voiced that as another concern. We're like, okay, we're getting out all of the people that or that you're not associated with that aren't in this alliance, but you get to keep the people that you're still associated with outside of the alliance, which is another added layer of distrust to a certain degree between everyone, which I like. I like when that happens.
Oh, same.
Yeah. I mean, I do think so. Actually, Timaz and I yesterday discussed very briefly this in the Facebook group that this season really started out just absolutely complete trash, but it is really like on par with or getting to be on par with like seasons that we consider to be some of the greatest seasons, like season 10 and like season 6. Like it has really turned around, and there's a lot of very strategic gameplay that is occurring, not necessarily on one side of the house, but whatever, they try ish. But we are seeing a lot of that, which is kind of refreshing, honestly. Like, I'm liking that we've had some steamrolling going on the past couple of weeks, but that we're already seeing kind of some fragmented, thoughts going here and there of, well, what if scenarios. And I gotta tell you, we may lose some people that we love, but it bodes well for for a season that's stagnant. Like, nobody wants to. We say, like, oh, I don't want this person to go home, or I really like that person, or I'll be so sad if this person goes home, but not really. We like seeing the upheaval within the house. Like, a lot of us just don't really like to admit it, but in the end, like, that's why they cast, people that they cast, is so that we will have this constant kind of like, what the crap are you doing type of personalities,
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. As much as I love Taylor and Michael and Brittany and even Kyle this week. Oh my God. Like, I love all of these people in this alliance, but at the same time, I'm like, it would be very, very interesting to see everyone scramble, say, if Jasmine won HOH again, if Daniel won HOH again. I'm not trying to speak that into an existence necessarily, but I want to see them be a group without power. They've never had that, and I want to see it happen.
Right.
Like, will they actually? Are they actually going to try and stick together? Are they actually going to try to keep their votes? If they have Monte on the block, if they have Michael on the block, some people that can be threats later on in the game.
Different dynamic.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm here for it. Like, I just think it's really something to think about. Like, like, when we think in terms of, like, what do we want to see? Ultimately, I want to see people who are unsure of their place in the game in this moment and have to figure it out. And I like Zack was talking earlier about the block voting, which is essentially back in the day when somebody would win HOH and you go in and you're like, listen, like, let's make a deal. Like, you keep me safe this week. Whenever I win HOH, whether it's this week or next week or whatever, like, I keep you safe, or let's make these 2-week deals. 2-week deals are, like, so great in the Big Brother house. Old school play. It doesn't work new school, except this year it definitely is set up correctly where it could work if somebody would just do that. And I think it would be great.
Yes.
A big positive I would say about this season so far, especially compared to last year. Last year, I don't know if I was really excited to watch any of the evictions. A single one. Like, I don't think I cared that much. Like, it was so set in stone from day one. It's like, okay, well, Frenchie's gone crazy. He's going. He's accepted it. Brent is going unanimously, even though he didn't know it.
I was excited for that one.
Which was nice.
That one.
That was the only one I could think of. But every single other one was like, I get what's happening. I know what's going to happen, and I had no desire to watch them really. But this year,
once Cookout established themselves, right?
Yeah.
We were happy for it, but it also, and we liked them. I love Tiffany.
Yeah.
There was no dynamic, like, shifting of power, right?
Yeah. It was very cut and dry. This is the next person to go, and they went. This is the next person to go, and they went. Whereas here, we've had all these circumstances set up such great eviction episodes so far. Every single one, even Paloma's, which we didn't even have an eviction. I was so excited to watch because we had the feeds cut off all day before. I didn't know what they were going to do with the twist or anything. And then we have Pooch's blindside. Even though he was unanimous, we didn't know it was going to be unanimous going into it. We thought it was going to be somewhat of a split vote. Seeing him get blindsided, and then, of course, last week, everything with that. And now tomorrow, we can possibly get another blindside if everything works out correctly. It may only be a blindside to Nicole and Daniel, but it would still be a nice blindside in and of itself. So every eviction episode so far, I've looked forward to it, where I can't really remember the last time I've had this many consecutive evictions that I'm just like ready to watch on Thursdays. So I really like that about this season. This is not my favorite cast ever, but I don't have to love everyone to like the season. I just have to like how much they hate each other.
I completely agree.
That's a good thought. I agree too. I definitely do. Wow, where is Zack?
He said, I probably should have acknowledged that way earlier. He said that his computer randomly installed an update, and he would be back.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry, I just didn't acknowledge him leaving. Yeah, Zack said he's done with the show. Okay.
He got
He
pissed
said-
and he left.
Nicole leaving was the last straw.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Bean says these pairs is the only way to get big targets on the block early in the season, so BB may keep this twist in future seasons. How do we feel about that?
No.
No.
I don't like recycled twists. I don't like, this is a recycled twist in itself. Like, it's not, it's in my opinion, it's ruining the gameplay because you can't throw up two people from the opposite side of the house. You have to now stress, like, for example, they have to put up Taylor this week, and it sucks to see that. And it's like, now Taylor has to go up for a third time, and it's kind of like, well, they have no other choice because they want to get Nicole out, and Taylor's just partnered with her. It's like, it's
Yeah.
ruining the gameplay for me. So no.
Well,
Yeah.
and look, I don't like seeing it. Like, once again, which it didn't make me actually cry this week because I know Taylor is in such a good spot within the house. But once again, she's upset because of being nominated, and I don't like that. But I don't think I would go so far as to say I don't like the gameplay or that it ruins it, because in some ways, yes, like I don't want to see the twist again, which means inevitably we will. So Bean, I agree there, because it's America's favorite twist. But in some ways, I think it has allowed them to play a little bit differently, like in getting targets out. Like, well, you're not like, so you can put somebody on the block without truly making them mad. Like, in past seasons, it's like, hey, I need you to be a pawn. And this season, it's like, well, but this is my target, and I don't really have any other choice except for you to be a pawn. Otherwise, I would never put you up there. So you kind of get, to do it in a different way. And then it's like, oh, sorry, you went home. Oopsies. And so I kind of like that aspect of it, but I don't want to see the twist recycled, which means we most definitely will. I didn't realize how much Barrett likes to see people hate each other. You have no idea, chat. Barrett's mean.
Ha 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 ha. And not that they necessarily all hate each other in this cast. I just don't think they have a love for one another that I've seen in recent seasons. And oh my God, the sex people are back. They're actually back. I'm not just saying the catchphrase.
It's time for a sex people takeover.
I need an air horn. Do I have an air horn?
I do not.
Then don't.
Oh.
Yes. I concur.
Okay.
There was something else I was gonna, let's see. America's vote twist comes back from season 6 instead of Case, or Amira comes. Oh, I don't want to read anymore. I'm upset about it. Amira comes back, wins HOH, and accidentally backdoors her best friend Jasmine. It's a good old side of blindside butter beans. Okay, that's not bad.
Oh my gosh. Do you
That's
think if
actually funny.
Do you think if Jasmine actually did get blindsided this season that Julie would greet her with a bowl of butter beans?
If she
Or even
does,
better,
it's a missed opportunity.
even
I
better,
would hope.
she pours them out in the doorway, and Jasmine slips on them on her way out, and she sprains her other ankle, and then Julie's like, "Ha! It's joking Julie strikes again." We'll be right back. Here's the trailer for The Invitation.
The Invitation.
In theaters August 26th.
I can see Jasmine tripping down the stairs on her way out.
Intentionally.
Boing, boing,
And
boing,
not
boing.
only that, she breaks the stairs. They split in two, and then she picks one up, uses it as a weapon. Yeah.
These are all
We're not
real
gonna get too
scenarios
far.
that are going to happen. Not far
Let's
enough.
see. Oh, okay. Joseph asked, "Will feeds be delayed if Daniel throws a tantrum?" I hope not. I want to see the tantrum.
If like
Tantrums galore.
after the HOH, you mean throwing a tantrum, like when they're all back inside?
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, the thing is, Daniel's not going to throw a tantrum unless he wins HOH, and even then, he probably won't because he'll be in power.
I don't know. He threw a tantrum, a complete tantrum about something that had nothing to do with him, and he was not HOH.
That is true.
But he's not going to do that when he's at risk of going home. He did it when he thought he had all the power.
He doesn't know he's at risk to go home. I don't even think that he's smart enough to know that he's at risk even after. Like, he's going to, like, be like, oh, Nicole went home. What happened? Did people forget how to vote? That must be it. Is America's twist this week? It's opposite day. That's got to be it. Like, that's his thought process.
I do like to think that Daniel, like in his freaking out phase, is just goes into Elvis voice. Like that's him freaking out. Like if he, like kind of like Kenneth on 30 Rock, whenever he got too rattled, the accent would come on out. You know, I think like with Daniel, I think if he gets too rattled, like the Elvis impersonator comes out and he just starts going insane. Like Buzz,
burning love.
Yeah. Also kind of like Buzz in Toy Story when he accepts that he's a toy and he just like is doing tea parties now with Sid's sister.
Nesbit to you. Yes. Go ahead.
That I didn't have anything else to say. By the time I get to Pixar references, that usually means I have nothing else to add to the conversation. And there's that silence.
That is true. Okay. No, I was reading. Barrett has a point. You'll love this, Barrett. Barrett has a point. Turner only called out the bullying as HOH. Players are afraid of putting a target on their back. I mean, this is true. And to a degree, they should be afraid. Like we saw that with Michael from day one, who you know, wanted to work with Taylor. And he did try his best, which was never shown by CBS because they freaking suck. Sorry, CBS, call me. We're still friends-ish. But like he tried to put, you know, or to keep Taylor safe as best he could without, you know, costing him his own game because the entire house was like on some sort of like, I don't know, like Salem witch trials hunt of some sort. Like it felt very like pitchforky. I don't know what's that called. You know what I'm talking about. Like it felt like that. Like they were just like Taylor's got to go, and so he couldn't just very well say, "Hey guys, but I like her," because then they'd be like, "Okay, and also you have to go, sir." Mm-hmm. And so, but he did try. And the one time, well, I don't know if he said more than one thing. I know of one thing specifically where he threw out like a comment that could be used in the DR for a goodbye message. He felt so bad about it almost immediately that then he was like to Brittany, like, I can't believe I've said this. Like, this is horrible. So that's like a good example of him wanting to protect her, but not having enough power or courage to do it in that moment. So I do think, yes, Barrett, you're right. Whoever being in chat, you're right. There are people that they're scared to say something because it could be to the detriment of their game.
Yeah. Well,
And
same thing with
that.
Brittany. She had a conversation with Taylor this week where she apologized about just being in the same room when Girls was formed and they were all trash talking Taylor on night one. Brittany didn't really say anything in that conversation, but she was there and she felt terrible about it. And she didn't say anything.
Yes,
she didn't say anything until now, because now they have the majority alliance with the power. And she was willing to be like, okay, I was in that room and I feel terrible about it. And she started crying. It was very emotional for her. She didn't even say anything. Brittany was just in the room, but she still
Right.
felt compelled to just let Taylor know that she did feel bad about being involved, even if she was at a distance, but she didn't say anything in the moment to stop it, which I thought was really good.
Well,
from
and I
Brittany.
will tell you, yes, very good, because I feel like that does speak volumes about who people are at their core. We all do and say like the dumbest things, not me ever, just kidding, regularly. Like the dumbest things, sometimes intentionally, sometimes inadvertently. I just say like the stupidest things, and a lot of times people just look at me and go, "Nope, shut up, you're stupid," and I go, "Okay," and then I don't. But I just think that it really does speak volumes when you see people who are still in the house and honestly have no idea really what America thinks in terms of what has gone on in the house this season, but they genuinely are affected just themselves and like internally with witnessing the behavior, with not saying anything, know it, like, because in the real world, I think that those type of people, a Brittany or a Michael or even a Turner, like would like that's shut up, that's not cool. But in the game, feel like your hands are tied. But to see them come out like Michael being immediately, just like, no, this is not okay. Turner, Joseph, um, Brittany, to see them come to that realization where they even have a conversation with Taylor before really and truly knowing any of the stuff on the outside, that speaks volumes about who they are, as opposed to the people who are already outside of the house, who are perpetuating this idea that America is stupid and that we're just not really seeing the real story. Like they're like, that's my story and sticking to it type of people. These are very different types of people.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think in terms of the people that are in the house that we've seen do that, Brittany, like with her emotional talk with Taylor, like it does make me feel a little bit differently about them. Not that I ever really felt too terrible about Brittany or Michael, to be honest, because they've been pretty genuinely kind throughout. But some of the others like Joseph or Turner, who did say and do things that were not nice, but it's just been a full 180 for them. And is somebody last podcast asked me like in chat, and I didn't see it until much later, asked me if these people on the outside apologize, would I accept it? I mean, they're not going to apologize to me, first of all, but they owe the apology to Taylor. And to be honest with you, I really can't answer that accurately, because some apologies feel genuine and some don't. So it just is going to have to be proof is in the pudding for me. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I do think, long story short-ish, I am glad to see some of the people having conversations with Taylor unprompted and acknowledging I have done something wrong and I feel immense guilt about it because I really, really, really like you and I want to move forward. I like seeing that because I think that's real life, real people, and it makes me happy with them as human beings.
It's also just, I think, an appealing part of the game. And I know in the heat of the moment when we have, Paloma's pack in this season that's just ganging up on Taylor without her even in the room, just behind her back, constantly trashing her. And you have these people that aren't also speaking up, but are also in the room. And I think that's a really intriguing aspect of like the social experiment part of Big Brother, because you are put in these situations where morally you're like, I don't know if I feel great about this, but at the same time, you're competing for $750,000. What do you do? Do you stay complicit in a bullying scenario, and if it keeps you safe and has a better chance for you to get money at the end of this game? What do you do? In this case, people took a moral high ground and are in power now, so it really worked out for them. But sometimes we've seen on the flip side, it doesn't really work out the same way. So that's one really cool thing I
I
think
don't
about this
know
game.
that.
Bullying is not cool in this game. I don't want people to be put in these situations where we have to talk about that. But I think being just that situation itself put into people's minds is really interesting to me.
I think all of us would say, well, I know I would say I would not want to be complicit in that because I think allowing people to talk that way in front of you, it basically means that you are approving of it. And in real life, for sure, I'd be like, hey, shut up with, like, you want to step outside? No, like, I would never say that. But I would want to confront that behavior right then. And maybe that's the mom in me or the teacher in me, or just, I don't know, the human being in me, where I'd be like, shut up. I really want to say that inside the house, if that happened and I were in that situation, that I would do the same exact thing. Like, here's what we're not going to do. We're not going to act like this because, if you want to continue to do that, then you and I are not going to associate, because just no, right? I want to say that that's what I would do. And I want to think that that's what I would do, and I hope that that's what I would do. I don't know if I would. And it bothers me that I question myself a little bit about it. But and regardless of that, like, I know 100% in the outside world, I mean, I have no problem taking up matters like that with complete strangers that I don't know. I do it all the time. And sometimes to the embarrassment of my friends, where they're like, don't involve yourself. And I'm like, hold on. Somebody over here is not being nice, and I've got to take care of it. And I don't even care. I don't care if I know you or not. I'm going to be like, no. You're not going to talk to this person that I don't even know that way, right? Like, I don't have a problem doing that in the real world, because that's the way it is. So, but regardless of whether or not, I really hope that I would do it in the house. I would never be in the house, but I really hope that I would. I like to think that I would, but I don't know in that moment. But here's the thing that I do like. I do like seeing that the horrible things that have occurred. I do like seeing the real life humanness of people going, hey, you know what? I really screwed up. Because when you see people set that example, because we all say and do stupid things all the time. I probably do it more than anybody else in the whole world. I'd like seeing the example of people owning something, because then it gives other people the ability to also own it. In fact, last night my daughter was a real smart ass to me on the way home from the gym. And I have to tell you that I just was like, okay, turn the radio up. We're done talking for the rest of this 45-minute trip home. And when we got home, after about probably another 30 minutes, she on her own came into the living room and was like, Mom, I need to talk to you. I need to apologize to you for my behavior in the car. And it really wasn't even that big of a deal. She's just being a 13-year-old. And I, told her, you know what? I really appreciate that you came in here and said that to me, because there are grown adults that don't know how to acknowledge their behavior and apologize for it. And so I was so proud of her, even though what she did was like relatively she's just being, just a teenage kind of jerk face like kids are, it just made me happy to know, because she's not always going to do that. I would like to think that she's perfect. She's not me. Just kidding. But I loved seeing that. And I know that's a good thing that she did, is acknowledging her behavior. And so I like seeing that example from some of the people in the house. I hate seeing the example that some of the people in the house and outside of the house have set, because I don't think that they're apologetic at all. And I want to punch them in the face.
For the record, I was also once a teenage jerk face to you. If I can remember correctly.
Oh yes, when you flipped me off, I remember.
How old was I? Like 14?
I mean, yeah, you were just a teenager. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, teenagers are jerk faces, but you know what? Adults are jerk faces too. And I mean, I'm certain that I was a jerk face to you about it. I don't even remember what happened, but you know what? I do think it was Big Brother related. I think we argued about something Big Brother related.
Oh, I hope it wasn't. That's embarrassing if it was. If I got that heated about it. Nick, what you thinking? Bedtime?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what else we haven't talked about.
I can't think of much, to be completely honest. I
just know Nicole is leaving tomorrow.
That's right.
And it's gonna be delicious to watch. So
everyone open your purse.
I know. I'm so
open
excited.
your purse.
Open your purse.
Okay. Are y'all both okay with me ending the show?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we ended on a very existential note, I guess. But I'll start playing Islands in the stream.
I'm medicated.
Yeah. Unless Zack comes back, and then we'll have to stay on for another half hour. So.
Oh my gosh, please.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. If you were here live, thank you for being in the chat. I always love it when you show up. You guide a lot of this conversation sometimes. So thank you all for showing up, especially everyone who keeps continuing to show up week after week. We really appreciate it. If you did not watch live, I don't know. I thought I had a point there. I'm glad you also watched. I mean, I'm really also glad you watched. Most of our viewers are not live, so thank you for watching us regardless of anything. That sounded demeaning at first, but thank you all for watching. If you want to catch us live next time, we typically go live right after the Wednesday night episodes and then Saturday around 6 p.m. Central Time. So keep that in mind. But if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, we also have a YouTube version if you want to catch us there, and vice versa, anyone who watched us live. We also are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, the whole shebang. Catch us on there. We'll be back on Saturday to talk about the Eviction, the HOH nominations, and maybe even veto spoilers. We'll see. But yeah, until then, if you want to keep up with us, I am at Spicy Barrett on Twitter. Nick is at the Nick City. Roxy's at Roxy_Hotman. Those links are also in the description below. You can join our Facebook group if you want to talk Big Brother 24/7. What else? There's other things. Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah. Nicole's going to go home tomorrow. Maybe she'll be blindsided too. That would be fun. I would enjoy that. But
Yes.
if not, that's okay. I'm sure it'll still be a fun episode, of course. We'll finally get Kyle and Alyssa smooching. Kyle getting too big for his britches. But Zack, if you're out there, we miss you. If you're doing mystery shoulders watching us do the ending of this podcast, we're doing them with you. I don't know why I'm still talking. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.